Shalom, family. Shalom, shalom, shalom. Right back. I think so. Okay. Shalom, family. Shalom. How's everybody doing? Shalom, Lisi. What's going on? Lisa, give me a thumbs up or a 10 or something if you can hear me. Okay. Shalom, brother. Shalom, brother Stockton, brother Frank Stockton. How's it going? Awesome, awesome, awesome. Just want to make sure you guys can hear me instead of just talking a lot you know, but you can't hear anything. So thanks a lot for that. Yes. I got a brand new Bible, and it's going to take me a little while to learn how to navigate through this one, actually. Believe it or not, this one was a gift to the ministry, and it has the Hebrew names. This one's the scriptures. Family. Mishpacha is family in Hebrew, and it was a gift, and I like it. The Hebrew names are returned, and so it's going to take me a minute to read through some of. Anyway, it's going to take me time to get used to it. I'm used to my King add to dictionary. Yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, so I'm looking at a couple of things there. But I just want to make sure. Shalom, shalom. A unique taste of soul. Shalom, shalom. Shalom, King. Shalom. If I ever get out to wherever you are, I like to try some of that food. But let me. You said soul food. Do you observe the dietary law? The unique taste of soul. I just want to because I can't try any of the unclean foods if you have that. Oh, my man, my man, my man. All right. Yeah. All right, I can work with that. You can't get soul food if it's clean. So, my man, appreciate that. Appreciate that. So, but I'm just letting a couple more people get in, and we want to deal with emotions. We walk. As we do this walk, we know that the enemy is going to try to use everything he can to cause us to stumble, right? Everything he can to cause us to stumble and fall and use anything and anybody, anyone, excuse me. And the thing is, we need to be aware of that. Okay, we need to be aware of the of his devices. Okay, his corner devices, his schemes. He can use our emotions against us. That's why a lot of times he goes after, the weaker vessel. Because they're more led by emotions and things like that. But he's gonna use it. Let's see, a unique taste of soul. No pork, shellfish, catfish, or anything unclean. Praise Yah. Praise Yah. Soul food, clean soul food. Yeah, that clean soul food. Yeah, yeah. Praise, praise y'all. Bless you, brother. Bless you. It's about to get real. I'll grab my headphones. Okay, awesome, awesome. I guess on death, shalom. Oh, shalom, shalom. I'm sorry, it's about to get real. Shalom, I see you there. I see you. Okay, just catching up with everybody. House of Lee, where at? Oh, the soul food. I don't. Hey, unique taste of soul. Where are you located? Where are you? I mean, what state are you in? Where can they find you? Okay, I'll let you get into that. But I wanted us to kind of talk about. I did a video earlier. Oh, it was in Ohio, North Carolina. All right, cool, cool, awesome. I wanted to deal with this whole emotional thing, emotions, because I think sometimes it get us off track. And I guess from the male point of view, I'll deal with us first. I'll deal with the males first, right? And it can when we let a lot of these emotions, shalom, shalom's in exploration, shalom, sister. When we let some of these things, and when I say these things, emotions, get in our way, distract us, it can really knock us off course. The enemy knows, he knows us, okay? He can watch us, he knows what will get us. And sometimes it can be your emotions or it can be the emotions of a loved one. And I think what we have to realize is just emotions is just, indicators, it is just like temperature gauges and not the GPS. Okay. It's one of those things, we, and a lot of times if we use emotions as a GPS instead of a temperature gauge or something, that's when we get led astray. That's when we're off course. That's when we're doing something we shouldn't do. That's when we're saying something we shouldn't say, or we're going in the wrong direction. But before we start digging in it or whatever, hey, anybody, if there's anyone who's maybe had to deal with emotions, either their own emotions or they had to combat or contend with the emotions of a loved one, put that in the comment section. Just see if you had to deal with that thing. I just want to see if this is a topic that we really need to tackle. We really need to tackle because sometimes we forget some of the obvious things, or we look at some of the big distractions. We're always like, hey, the devil's the enemy and this and that. Well, sometimes he uses things that works. Sometimes he doesn't just work through an enemy. He can try to knock on the door of your heart and your mind and use that and tap it. That emotion, right? Like with men, one of the big emotions that we have to deal with is our anger, right? And so he can use that against us. He can use that. Okay, we all have these problems, so we really need to address it, right? So we're gonna look at some of that. Okay, soon be in Texas. Okay, shalom, Daniela Israel. Shalom. You dealt with okay your own emotions. Everyone else. Shalom, Shakina. Shakina. Shalom, shalom. Yeah, we do. Yes, we definitely have to deal with those things. So that's why I want to address like the guys first. But I'm gonna look at some of these scriptures when it comes to our emotions. Hold on here. I had it pulled up here. Okay, so what I want to go to first, I'm going to go to Philippians. That's what I want to do. Let's go to Philippians. Make sure I got the right one here. Okay. Philippians. Philippians. Ephesians. Philippians. Philippians. I want to go Philippians 4 and 6 and 7. So again, this is my first workout with my, scriptures Bible. So 4 and 6. Rejoice in Yah always. Again, I say rejoice. Let your gentleness be known to all men. The master is near. Do not worry at all, or don't be anxious, right? So that's an emotion. Don't be anxious, but in every matter, by prayer and petition or supplication. With thanksgiving, let your request be made known to Elohim. Okay, so again, when we're anxious, we get a little we make hasty decisions. Okay, we make hasty decisions. We we try to make something happen. Sometimes we just need to be still. We need to calm down, right? So I just want us to keep that in mind. That sometimes we can be anxious, but I'm gonna get into a little bit some of the anger, some of those more volatile spirits there. Let's go to Proverbs. Let's go to Proverbs. Let's see, find it. Who we're looking for? It's a little. Again, I'm used to my. I'm used to the King James, but I am gonna get this thing. I'm gonna get this proverb. What am I missing here? Okay. Jeremiah. Now, if this carry on a little too long, I'm gonna have to switch up. Kings. Samuel. Okay, go back the other way. Okay. Okay, Yeshayahu, Yeremiah, Yehikiel, Daniel, Amos, Joel, Yonah, Tehillim. So there we go. We have Psalms. So Proverbs is next. So let's go to the Proverbs. Thank you, sweetheart. Thank you, because this takes a long time. My wife don't want to see me struggle. She's so nice. Mishle. So Proverbs 29. Let's go to Proverbs 29. I'm gonna have to go back to the King James till I get used to my scriptures. Proverbs 29. But let's take a look. 29 and verse 11. 29 and 11. A fool lets out all his breath, but the wise keeping it back calms it down. Now, I'm going to look at that over in the King James. It says it a little bit different. Proverbs, look at that, already there. So I told you I'm used to my Proverbs. So 29. So again, 29 and 11. A fool uttereth all his mind, but a wise man keepeth it in till afterward. So he's going to consider the matter. He's going to think about it a little bit. A lot of times, I got to tell you, we don't. Sometimes, hey, I can fly off the handle and, you might say something or do something that you wish you hadn't, right? I mean, scripture says, don't let the sun go down on your anger, that kind of thing. And I think that's just something we really got to work on. Okay. We got to really work on restraint. We really, really do. And sometimes if we say something out of anger, guys, as much as we want to take it back, if we say it to like a loved one, then they can get over it or it's hard. Okay. It's hard. It's really, really hard. I'll put it to you like this. Let me show you something here. Let me use a piece of paper here for a second. Because I just think that we should watch our words. We know in Brit Hadashah that, it says be quick, to listen, okay? Slow to speak, okay? Slow to anger, those type of things. We know that that's what it says for us that we need to do. We need to be slow to anger. Because a lot of times we can't take it back as much as we want to, even though we apologize as much as we want to. So it's really, really important. Like, for instance, okay, let me use this piece of paper, for example, right? And let's say this is a loved one, Okay, it could be your child, it could be your wife, it could be, whatever. And let's just say you are angry, okay? And let's just for the sake of example, just say, man, you're in the wrong, okay? You're yelling, you're screaming, you're, flying off the handle, and this is how it affects the loved one, right? This is how it affects. But you go back and you say, okay, hold on, hold on. I'm sorry, I was wrong. I'm asking for your forgiveness. I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it. All right? Okay, so it's restored. Then you another something else happens down the line, some time passes, whatever, and let's say you're wrong, right? And you go, oh, you did this already, and you're mad, you're cursing, you are, raising all kinds of hell, right? Then you realize you're wrong. You say, dang, I shouldn't have. I apologize. I'm sorry. I'll pray to the Father, forgive me. I'm asking you for your forgiveness. Please, I won't do it again, right? Once again, time passes by, and you fly off the handle again, and this is what's happening, right? This is how your loved one feels, wife, child, whatever. And I'm not saying you're wrong every time. I'm not saying that. There is righteous indignation as well. So I'm not saying you're wrong every time. But then you apologize. So now you're thinking, okay, we'll see, I apologize and everything's nice and everything's cool. We're all back to normal. It's good. It's good. Everything's good. Right? But look at all the scars. Is this piece of paper in the same condition it was before you start flying off the handle all those times? Still usable. I can still write on it, but look at what's left, right? So it's important that we do that. We control ourselves as much as humanly possible. We try to watch our words as much as humanly possible because of the damage that we leave behind. Because of the damage. All because we lost emotional control. All because we were driven by our emotions, right? And I'm not trying to say, oh, all emotions are bad or all anger is bad. No, I'm not saying that. Our Messiah, had righteous indignation. He flipped over tables. He's whipping people in the temple and all that. There is a righteous anger, okay? It said, be ye angry and sin not. Okay? We have that. Go, let's, Proverbs 15. Proverbs 15. And I am going to look at verse 18. A wrathful man stirreth up strife, but he that is slow to anger appeased strife. He makes it go away. Proverbs 15, 18, he makes it go away, right? So a lot of times, like for example, if we keep meeting each situation with anger and wrath, okay, it could have been avoided, it could have been fixed, or if we meet it with anger first, then I think we're starting to, it's like adding gasoline, to the fire. We're like making it worse, okay? We make it worse. Now, again, I'm going to hit it from different angles, right? I'm not going to just talk about just one thing. Right now, I'm just talking to us men, right? Because sometimes we can, let our emotions get the best of us sometime. So, and again, I'm not saying, all the time. I'm not just saying, hey, guys, every time you get angry, it's wrong. No, I'm not. Sometimes that anger is right and it's righteous and it's necessary. So we want to do that. Let's see. It went out here for a second. So let me mute because I'm hearing myself double. I don't want to do that. So let me mute that. Okay, so I'm just talking about our emotions, right? We sometimes it's necessary to emote, but typically we're not driven by emotions. Typically, that's why we're accused of being insensitive. That's why they're like, they think we're cavemen or we're Neanderthals or something, and that's not always the case. Okay, that's not always the case. So I'm just saying we gotta watch. We don't want to be driven by our emotions. We want to be thinking men, and we want to use the proper emotions, or we let our emotions just kind of gauge the situation and not control the situation. All right. So let's look at a few other things here, because there's a time and a place for everything as far as emotions is concerned. We know um, in Ecclesiastes, it says there's a time for every Ecclesiastes 3 and 4. Okay, if we look at that, Ecclesiastes 3 and 4, it'll tell us that it is a time for everything, right? So let me just go to 3. Time for everything. But I'll start at 1. Ecclesiastes 3. To everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the sun. So there's a time to be angry. There's a time to be sad. There's a time to be, a little worried. There's a time to be. And I know God. I know Yah has not given us the spirit of fear. But what I'm saying is that sometimes when you have that trepidation, like for instance, if you're out in the wilderness or something like that, and there happen to be bears and wolves and mountain lions or whatever the case may be, yeah, you probably need to be concerned about that if you're not prepared, and especially if you're in a part of the woods you've never been before, right? So you want to be, there's a time for everything. So there's a time for all these emotions, right? And then it says also, verse 2, a time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant, and a time to pluck up that which is planted, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to break down and a time to build up, a time to weep, emotions, and a time to laugh, another emotion, a time to mourn, another emotion, and a time to dance. To everything, there's a season. There's a time for all of that. Okay, so a lot of times, if we don't do everything in its season, it can ruin us. It can cause a lot of damage. It can cause a lot of havoc. So we just need to keep that in mind, right? So we go to again with our emotions, okay? Romans 12 and 15. What does that say? Okay, Romans 12 and 15. Well, actually, Romans 12. Yeah, Romans 12, verse 15. Rejoice with them that do rejoice, and weep with them that weep. So you want to have um, sympathy and empathy for our brethren. Okay, your brother's heart ache. Hey, have some sympathy and some empathy for him if you understand his plight. It's that simple. The problem is when our emotions get out of control, right? That's when it's a problem. The emotion itself is not the problem, okay? It's the letting it get out of control. Okay, that's what we really need to think about, and we need to concern ourselves with. Let's see what we have here. You guys are quiet. You guys are quiet, but that's okay. I'll give you the scriptures. I'll just give you the scriptures, give it to you how it is. But I'm not done. You guys are quiet, so that's okay. That's all right. I have other. Okay, Proverbs 15:13. Let's try that. Proverbs 15 and 13. Okay, look at a couple of other there. See how much faster I get to it? In the King James, I'm used to that. But I'll work on the other one. Okay, Proverbs 15 and 13. A merry heart maketh a cheerful countenance. Okay, you're happy. If you're happy and you know it, tell your face. And what did I say? 15:13. Countenance. A merry heart maketh a cheerful countenance, but by sorrow of the heart the spirit is broken. And that's just one of those things where you have a weariness of the flesh where you just you have a weariness of the flesh, because the emotions kind of get you down. You have no energy, you have no motivation, you don't want to do anything when your countenance is down. When you are just really that giving you an idea of how our emotions can control us, right? If you're happy and when you're happy and you're energetic and you are feeling like you're on top of the world, what you move, you do something. You make something happen. You motivate. You want to go. And then when you are sorrowful, or when you mourn, or when you are depressed, or when any of these things, look how it controls us, right? Look how it controls us. And we want to keep that in mind. And we're going to transition in how you have to, or how you deal with it, in our relationships. Right now, I'm just keeping it personal to us, our individual emotions, and making us aware of that. But we're going to get into, or we're going to talk about dealing with those emotions and how it affects us, in the relationships and stuff like that. Okay, so everyone, we all have those emotions and stuff. At John 11:35, short sentence, Jesus wept. So it's emotions is not a problem. Them controlling you is a problem. Okay, let's just keep that in mind. Okay, so Ephesians 4. Let's go to Ephesians 4. I said that earlier. Ephesians 4 and 26. Okay, be ye angry and sin not. Let not the sun go down upon your wrath. And he even gives a reason why. Neither give place to the devil. Because when you are angry, you're going to you might do something foolish. You might cause damage that you wish you hadn't. You might do something that you wish you could take back. So real important to keep that in mind. Real important to keep that. Do you feel that emotions unchecked are spirits and demons? Okay, that's a good question. Good question. Do you feel? I think it is a spirit. I do think it is a spirit. But here's what I mean. Here's what I mean. Do I mean that you're demonic or anything? That no, because I don't mean it like that. Because that means anytime we feel any kind of strong emotions, all of a sudden we're demon possessed. No, but I do think that they can take advantage of that. I think as far as demons are, they can take advantage of us when we feel like that, right? But here's what I mean by I do believe that it's spirit, okay? And I want to show you that way you don't think that I'm just kind of, making it up. I want you guys to go to Numbers 5. Let's go to Numbers 5 real quick. Right? So here's what I mean. Like me and the brethren, we like to answer the questions with scriptures, right? So do I believe that our emotions, are they spirits? I believe yes, they can be spirits, right? So I'm gonna start at about 14. Numbers 5 and 14. And the spirit of jealousy come upon him, and he be jealous of his wife, and she be defiled. Or if the spirit of jealousy come upon him, and he be jealous of his wife, and she be not defiled. Okay, a spirit. It's a spirit, right? So 15, then shall a man bring his wife unto the priest, and he shall bring her offering for her, the tenth part of an ephah in barley meal, and he shall pour no oil upon it, nor put frankincense thereof. Okay, this is that spirit of jealousy, right? A spirit of jealousy. Okay, so we have that, and then I'm going to go ahead. Then it just talks about how what the priest has to do, and get the water and a little dust from the floor of the tabernacle, put it in, she drink it. If the belly swells, thighs, that type of thing, she becomes barren or whatever. You just read the rest, right? And it determines whether or not she did commit adultery or not, right? Then if I scoot on down to 30, it says, or when the spirit of jealousy cometh upon him, and he is jealous over his wife, and shall set the woman before the Lord, and the priest shall execute upon her all this law. Okay? Then shall the man be guiltless from iniquity, and this woman shall bear her iniquity. Okay? So that, and it depends on whether or not she's jealous or not of it. Okay, so I do think it is a spirit upon us, and that's why we shouldn't languish in our emotions, especially the extreme one like anger and hate and jealousy and things like that. I think we need to get that taken care of. Does that answer your question? So let me know. Spirits use absolutely. Spirits use emotions very exactly. Exactly. Spirits they do. They use that. They poke and they know the buttons to push. They poke and prod and and then when you're feeling some type of way, and then you start thinking, oh, my husband, yeah, he did this, he did that, and I don't think he loves me, or he's not leading me right, or he's not. Just telling you, playing on that, stoking the fire, spitting in your ear, telling you more and more to have you start thinking more negative. Have you noticed you might have a negative thought and then you have another one, then another one, then another one, then another. All of a sudden, you snowballs into this huge negative boulder, right? Because they know, okay, the spirit know how to manipulate that. They know what's working. They do what's working. They do what's working. They don't do anything to calm you down, okay? The Holy Spirit might be trying, but the other spirits, no, they know exactly what's working, right? They just mm, mm, they do exactly what's working. So that's that they poke and prod at you. So yeah, emotions, they are spirit, right? Because it's the spirit of jealousy. You can have a spirit of anger, spirit of wrath, spirit of vengeance. You can have all that experience. You can have a spirit of love. You can have good ones, but those demons, they like to use those negative ones because they're strong and destructive. And destructive. It can cause you to do something different. Just like if a woman goes out and commits adultery or something, what happens? In the world, what tends to happen when a woman goes out and commits adultery, right? They used to say in the world, a man needs opportunity and a woman needs a reason, right? So when she feels unloved emotion, unappreciated, okay? When she feels that he's out seeing someone, you see what I'm saying? Or he's neglecting her, and all that plays in her mind over and over and over, right? And then it gets more negative and more negative and more negative, and then soon as someone else makes her feel good emotion, makes her feel appreciated emotion, and wanted emotion, and loved emotion, and then her body is engaged. That's typically what happens. He says the right things, hit the right buttons, see, good or bad. See, when we're led by emotions. Is that making sense? Is that making sense? You see what I'm saying? So we can't let the emotion control us. Now our emotion says, "Oh, this guy makes me feel great. He makes me feel wonderful. My husband, he doesn't pay any attention to me anymore. He doesn't appreciate me. But this guy, he's doing it for me." Now logically, you should not sleep with another man. But emotionally, it's working for you. Emotionally, it's engaging. You see, that is the difference. That's the difference. Logically, oh man, I can't be with another. Thank you, Shakinya. I can't be with another man. But this other guy makes me feel good. Makes me feel good about myself. Emotions. You see? So, shalom, shalom, Sarah Harris. Shalom. So that's the kind of thing we have to think about, right? That's what we have to think about. Okay, those emotions not being guided or controlled by those emotions. They can be very, very, very dangerous. Okay, so I got a few more scripts here because it can knock us off. It can totally take us away of what we should be doing. Okay, so Proverbs 25 and 28. Proverbs 25 and 28. I'm still talking about the guys a little bit. So, ladies, if you missed the first 30 minutes of this whole thing, I was talking about the guys. So when we start talking about the women, I don't want you getting all sensitive because all I've been addressing is the guys and having self-control. And I got a few sisters on here as my witness. So 25, what was that? And 28 actually. 25 and 28. He that had no rule over his own spirit, that spirit again, is like a city that is broken down and without walls. He has no protection. They have a saying out in the world, he that angers you controls you, right? They have that saying. So it's like you can be manipulated. If I want to control a guy, I can anger him, right? And I can get him to act irrational, right? I can get him to act irrational if that's what I want him to do. Okay? Because a lot of times when we get angry, we feel like we're at our strongest because we're so mad and pumped up. And that adrenaline, we get this adrenaline, and but actually, it could be a crafty person can actually use it against you. Okay? Obviously, your anger used the wrong way can be a destructive force in your marriage. All right, because we're all about we're all about biblical marriage and stuff like that, right? So as I transition into talking about the ladies, uh, I don't want y'all to get too quiet. I want y'all to be honest and participate and stuff like that. But as we transition, I want the ladies to understand just because your husband gets angry doesn't mean he's wrong. Depends on the situation, right? He could get angry, and if he's wrong, then yeah, that anger can be self-destructive. Did you have a question?
No.
Okay.
Lisa's gonna take over doing the verses for you, so I can start your dinner.
Thank you. Thank you, sweetheart. So that's what I want you guys to understand. Just because a man gets angry doesn't mean he's wrong. Okay, and honorable men doesn't have a problem with coming back, apologizing, and saying, you know what, okay, I was wrong, I lost my head, lost my cool for a second. I'm sorry. That's it. So we can definitely get that. We can get that under control. Okay, that's just one of the things that we as men we need to, be aware of that, right? Be aware of that. Let's see if there's a few more we can get for the guys. Okay. Proverbs 16:32. Okay, a little bit more. 16:32. Proverbs 16:32. Which read, "He that is slow to anger is better than the mighty." Remember how I said, if I can anger you, I can control you. I can, if that's my goal. It depends on my intent. Okay, fellas. He that is slow to anger is better than the mighty, and he that ruleth his spirit than he that taketh a city. Okay, some people are just really, and it's like, a controlled, calm, cool. You look at a fight. Okay, the guy who's all angry and full of fire and everything, and then you have a thinking fighter, one who's not super angry. He's just thinking. He's gonna outthink that. He can outthink that guy. Okay, he's able to outthink that guy. So anyway, as it pertains to our relationships, more often than not, maintaining self-control, having emotional control fixes the situation more often than not. Okay, but fellas, hear me carefully. Sometimes I understand when we get angry and we're just like, enough is enough. Sometimes that fixes it too. Okay, sometimes that fixes it too when you have to get rid of the shalom, Hebrew homestead, shalom. Sometimes, I'm sorry, sometimes it takes one of that, okay, that's it, enough. All right, enough. And that's what it takes sometimes. I'm sorry, that's how it is. So emotions, they shouldn't drive the car. Okay, emotions should not drive the car. So we're going to start transitioning, talking about the ladies, talking about relationships, talking about the manipulation. Ladies, I'm going to tell you right now, we men, we're not unfeeling, and we're not necessarily insensitive. We're just not driven by our emotions. The emotions doesn't come first. We don't have a position of, this is how I feel, so it must be right. What's going on, brother? HOQ. Shalom, brother. Shalom. We're talking about emotions and it not controlling us. And also, we get into the relationship part about it so that, the men, we don't let our wives emotionally manipulate us. Okay. Now, I tell you right now, ladies, just because we don't say anything, it doesn't mean we don't know that we're being emotionally manipulated. Just because we don't say anything, it doesn't mean that. Okay. But again, just because we don't allow ourselves to be emotionally manipulated doesn't mean that we're insensitive, because it depends. If the situation is about to pull us off our path, it's about to distract us from what is most important, then we don't work. We forget about it. We're not gonna let that detour us too much. Now, at the same time, as righteous husbands, we're gonna hear your cause, see what's bothering you, what's eating you, what has you in emotional distress, and then we'll listen to that and help you work through it. If it's something sensible, okay, we're gonna help you work through it. It's part of us nurturing you and watering you with the word and being tenderhearted and things like that, but not being controlled. We're just here to help. I understand, as men, you have to understand we are wired to, when you come with a grievance, we are wired to want to fix it. That's how we wire. We want to fix it. That's just, if you're presenting a problem, we're like, okay, what are we gonna? The first thing we're thinking, okay, what am I gonna do about this? That's what we're thinking, right? What am I gonna do about this? How am I gonna fix it? And I realize through experience, and it takes a lot of practice because we're not wired this way, that sometimes you don't want to fix. You don't want it fixed. Sometimes you just want to be heard. Sometimes you just want to vent. Okay? Am I saying, you know what? Let me check in on you guys. Am I saying something wrong, ladies? Am I saying something wrong there? Please give me a different perspective. Okay? Give me a different perspective. How has emotions affect, the relationship, right? What's going on there? If you were someone who maybe emotionally kind of manipulated the situation, talk about that. So what's going on? Okay, just what's going on in our relationships. We have to take care of these spirits. Okay, these spirit of emotion, because again, sometimes when we're at our emotional peak, we're not really ourselves, right? We're not really ourselves. We may say or do something that we would not normally do if we let our emotions reign. Okay, if we give in to those emotions, right? So, I mean, I'm just gonna keep on going. I'll keep going. If you guys don't want, nobody wants to speak up and say, their hand in the whole emotional part of it, you know, but we don't want to do it because we don't want any of that to distract us. Okay, we don't want nothing to distract us. So, let me look here. I had some more scriptures because the Father put something on our heart. Okay, the Father, he put something on our heart, and you want a husband that's driven. You want a husband that's obedient to Yah, and he has a direction, he has a purpose. And we don't want to be knocked off our course or dissuaded in any way, because we can't turn back. We can't turn back. And when we have to worry about things that, I don't want to say trivial, but sometimes things are trivial, okay? Some of it is trivial. Some of it's important, some of it is trivial. Okay, and that's what we're trying to discern, right? Is this a serious matter? Is this big? Does this need my time and attention right now? Or is it trivial? You see? So we got to keep that in mind. So we just can't turn back. So I'm going to go to Philippians 3 and 13. Okay? Philippians 3 and 13. There we go. Philippians 3:13. Because once we start on this walk, we gotta keep pushing. Brethren, I count not myself to have apprehended, but this one thing I do, forgetting those things which are behind and reaching forth unto those things which are before. 14. I press toward the mark for the prize of the high calling of God in Christ Jesus. That's what we're doing. Okay, let's see here. Okay, Shakina. No, you're correct. Even the Bible tells us to be careful and not even trust the heart. Our emotions change daily, so we have to cling to His word. Is that correct? Yeah, absolutely, we got to cling to His word. Absolutely, because sometimes we can get, you know, it can kind of get out of control because you're right. Our emotions, they're up and down. They're, it's positive, it's negative, it's up and down. It's all over the place. But we have to be steady and stay the course, and eventually we'll get there. We'll get, like I just read, we press towards the mark. We will eventually get there if we stay the course. Think about where you would be if you let your emotions control every single decision you make. Think about where we would be. Okay? Think about the times when you were in an emotional bad place, but you didn't do anything. You didn't do anything. But think about what you were thinking about doing, and if you would have did that. Okay? See, that's the kind of stuff that I'm talking about. And Daniela Israel said, "You are correct, but these emotions come from a place of trauma most of the time. Some and but letting go of trauma. Yeah, it is about and not letting go of trauma. You're okay. You're right. Now we're talking about like the source of some of it, right? You're right. Some of these negative emotions, they do come from trauma. Okay, not all of them. Some of them that's just how some people are. Negative. They're just personality thing. That's just how they're wired. That's how they're bit. But you're right. Some of the extreme emotions can come from trauma, right? But we have to strive when we get into this word. We're trying to be transformed by the renewing of our mind. We're trying to engage more logic when our emotions are illogical, because by nature they are illogical, right? So we're trying to get to a place to where we step back from that emotion, okay, for a second. We step back and we're like, okay, wait a minute, okay, is this the right thing? Is this what the Father wants me to do? Okay, and in the case of the women, you go to your head and let Him guide. Let your head take the wheel when you're being driven by emotions, right? You guys talk about it, talk it out, okay? And then, hey, you never know. The Most High can even deliver you from some negative emotions, okay? If it can be a spirit of like you said, from trauma, like if you've been abused or something, you pray and work towards um, getting delivered from that. Okay, some women may have a spirit of competition with another female. Okay, a spirit of jealousy, a spirit of anger. We all need to work toward getting delivered from those emotions that are destructive, the ones that are destructive. Okay, you say would literally be dead if I listened to all the emotions, thoughts I ever. Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, like no joke. Like seriously, would be like, okay, yeah, wouldn't. How many times we felt? I mean, think about that. How many times we've been in such a low place in our life where we just wanted to end it all? And what if we would have done it? And guess what? That was an emotionally led. How about when we're super angry and we wanted to end someone else? What happened if we would have listened to that emotion? Not just use two extremes, right? So we really got to do that. Really, really got to understand that. Yeah, not all. Yep, yep. Deep hurt. Meditation on the word daily definitely helps with emotions. Absolutely, Sister Daniela. Absolutely, it really, really does. You got to center yourself back on the word. It's okay to meditate on that word. Get back in there. Get back on track. Get back on that straight gate, that narrow path. That's what I'm talking about. We got to get back to that straight gate. Okay. Shalom, Miss Ragsdale. Shalom, shalom. Enlightened one. Shalom. That the bread of life. Absolutely. We got to get back in these scriptures. We got to get back in there, and we got to get our prayer life and meditation. We really do. We really got to get that solid. We got to get that back going for real. We really do. We really got to get that back going. So, fellas, what we need to do is we need to determine whether or not we are being emotionally manipulated or not, right? You know your wife. You know your wife. I don't know. You know your wife. Okay? Because not everything that they're saying and approaching you with is emotional manipulation. They really have a grievance. They really have a concern. They really have something that they're worrying about. There really is a problem. Okay, and you need to determine that. Only you know that. Only you know that as a husband. Okay, but okay, I'll give you an example. There was a group. There was a group on Facebook a while back, and this group was actually about polygyny, right? The group was about polygyny. All right, Shalom Shalom Jawanda, wife of Mark Smith, bless you in your head. There was a group, and it happened to be about polygyny, right? And I won't say any names on purpose because I'm not trying to slander anyone, right? So I won't say any names on purpose. But the husband and wife, they had the group, and it was a biblical polygyny group. It was a biblical polygyny group and stuff like that. And they kept saying, they're looking for a second. Kept saying that, right? And so they kind of tell us our progress. Oh, and then she was like, "Oh, my husband, is looking for a second, And she would think, I'd be so glad, I have a sister wife, I have a co-wife, I have, this and that, and it'll be so wonderful and this and that." And then she was like, "Well, at other posts, at other times, at overtime, at other times, she would post things about, working on um, uh, certain things and getting ready for, sister wife and things like that, right?" And she was talking about being submissive to her husband and the whole 9 yards, the whole 9 yards. And then they would give us progress that, okay, hey, my husband, he's courting someone, you know, and then she would make little comments like, "Oh, they look so cute together," and this and that, this and that. A little time passed by. Oh, that didn't work out. But I noticed he was never saying anything, or he was never saying why, right? So, okay, no problem. You don't have to tell us all your business. Okay, no problem. Then it's like, yeah, she wasn't the right one for us, is what she was saying, right? But the husband, very, very quiet. Okay. They started to search again, and they court another young female, court someone else. Same thing. "Oh, it's so great, he's found interest in someone else and this and that, and oh, I think they're hitting it off and all this other stuff." And then again, doesn't work out. Okay, for whatever reasons. Not saying a whole lot as to why. Wife's doing all the talking. Don't hear, I don't hear, the husband. No problem. Then a post comes up, and let me see. I'm trying to remember what it was about. Oh, yeah, yeah. It was like, should the first wife be part of the process, or uh, uh, have discernment, or whatever, right? And I had agreed, and I think it was a post where he had said something, right? Because he doesn't say a whole lot. And I said, yeah, you can listen to your wife to an extent, right? Because she has discernment, okay, but you wanna be careful, right? And of course, she championed that comment, right? And then I think another post came up, and he said something, and it was something to the effect that, if the wife doesn't like her or something like that, then it ain't gonna work, not do it and stuff like that, right? And I was like, I went ahead and commented, and I said, well, I do agree that women have certain discernment, and women know other women pretty well. I said, I do agree with that. I do. I said, but as a husband, we have to we have to figure out, because we know our wives, we have to figure out, is it discernment or is it manipulation? Is it discernment, or is it her way of saying, if she don't like someone, okay, no, I don't want her, I don't want her, without her actually saying, I don't want her. I don't want her. So each one, and this is probably about 3, maybe 4 courtships, right? So I'm like, okay, cool. But it was one problem or another, for one reason or another. And he never said he didn't like the person, or it didn't work, or they didn't hit it off, or they didn't click, or whatever. The thing was, it wasn't clicking with the wife, right? Now, I had made a comment, right? We used to kind of back and forth a little bit, and then she says, "Yeah, wives, have discernment, and sometimes, because husbands can have blind spots and all that, And I commented to her, I said, yes, I understand that. Now it's his post, so he sees the comment, and I said, I understand that wives have discernment, and I agree with you. However, it's up to a husband to determine whether it is discernment or the wife's being jealous. And after that, it was complete silence. She said nothing for days, weeks, months on end, didn't say anything else. No comments, no likes, no posts, no nothing, right? Months and months later, she made, well, we decided not to pursue a second or whatever. Now, again, she's saying it, right? Not him. So I, I can't make a determination on their home. I don't know, right? But I'm thinking, I'm like, okay, is this manipulation here? Because someone can say, well, I'm just discerning, but you can just discern until the cows come home, and no woman will be good enough to be a second. So is that discernment? So is it the second one you court, the third, the eighth, the 10th you court, the 20th? You see what I'm saying? And if it's solely in the purview of the wife to pick, then whose decision is it really? And we know biblically, the man didn't really have to ask the decision. And I know some people, they go, well, brother, you don't want to sow discord in your home and all that. I get that. I understand. I understand. Okay, I get that. But what I'm saying is that you have to discern, is it a spirit of jealousy or is it discernment? That's what I'm saying. That's the challenge that we have to have. Let me see what we got here. Shalom to everyone just joined. More than likely, if they're coming out of this world system, they are engaged in some type of manipulation because that's how women and even men, to an extent, have been trained and indoctrinated. Couldn't agree more. And demonically influenced. Absolutely. That's what we're saying. Uh, Sister Lisi was saying, do I believe it's a spirit or a demon? And I said, I think it's a spirit, but the demons manipulate spirits. They manipulate those emotions. Matt, looking for excuses to keep Jezebel around sounds like, yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah. Uh, we not right ridiculous. We yeah, I know. We decided, yeah. Men have to cut out this wife approval stuff. That's what I'm saying. See, I like you, brother. You cut right to the chase. This wife approval stuff, exact. But that's what they were trying to do. I have learned to never speak for my husband unless he tells me to. Even on the live chat, he is always present. Bless you and your household. Okay, honest to your head, Mark Smith. I like it. That's order. That's protocol. But like I said, in that group, I don't know if she had permission from her husband. I don't know. It doesn't seem like it, but I can't state that for a fact. I don't know. It just doesn't seem like it to me. I'm like, gee, I mean, the way it, when he posted, when he was courting someone or whatever, oh, she's wonderful. We're a good match. It's cool. When he was posting, everything was great. When she was posting, it was questionable. Okay? So, discernment, manipulation. I don't know. I appreciate your teaching style. Easy to be entreated. Shalom. Thank you, by hearing and hearing by. I appreciate it. Yeah, everyone has a little different delivery style, so. Uh, but that's what I'm saying. That's one of the things that we think about, ladies. I'm letting you know. That's one of the things that we think about. When we have a little bit too much emotional manipulation, then we don't want to go to you at all. We don't want to go to you at all because we know, just like it says, in Scripture and Proverbs, don't give your power over to a woman. We don't want to give you our power, right? And that's the thing. And then you might want to let's just say you have a spirit of jealousy, okay? Let's just say that you may want to work on that, okay? Let's say you say that, and I'm just using a polygyny as an example. And you're like, okay, well, what I'm gonna do is I'm not gonna be cooperative, so that if I don't like her, he's not gonna bring her home, right? Well, okay. Then if he takes a stand and be like, look, I bring home who I want to. Kind of like when you think, go look in the Old Testament with war brides, right? The men of Israel went out to war or whatever. They killed the men over there. They took home a war bride. Didn't ask their wife first, right? He took her home, let her pare her nails, shave her head, let her mourn her family, and then if he wanted to, he made her a wife, and that was it, right? But okay, let's just say you say, oh well, I'm just gonna act a fool until and then he'll never bring anyone home. He takes a stand and he's like, I'm gonna bring someone home, and you're gonna deal with it because not because the person's bad, did something wrong or whatever, because you just don't like because you don't want this to happen, right? Okay. He takes a stand, boom, he brings someone home. Then you say, okay, well, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna sow discord throughout the household. That could backfire on you because he could take another stand and put you out, and then she stayed, and she was okay with polygyny. You say you were, but you act a fool. You got to think about that. It could backfire on you. What he meant is everything was going good in the bedroom, and he didn't want that to stop by telling Jezebel she wasn't finna run his home anymore. Could be. Uh, Brother Frank, good to have you. Good to have you, Brother Frank. He said, in my opinion, I would prefer that they get along. Me too. Me too. Make no mistake about it. Me too. They will be spending more time together than with me, and I wouldn't want a destroyed home when I get back. I do what I want, but I take into account my wife's discernment. Absolutely. Okay? Do not get it confused. Don't get it twisted. I want a happy, harmonious home, a home that has peace in it. Okay? And you take the wife's discernment, right? And you say, okay, I'm gonna take your discernment in account, okay? But we better be fair about this, and it better make sense, okay? It better make sense, and I'll take that into account, okay? So some some husbands, I'm not telling anybody what to do. Some husbands they let their wife pick. They let their wife pick. They say either I'm gonna let you pick, and then you can have your pick, and if you don't pick, then I'm gonna pick. Okay, you pick, or I'm gonna pick. One of the two. Obviously, you have veto power. You're the husband, but I'm just saying you gotta get you get. Can't be emotionally manipulated. Can't be emotionally controlled. Right. But again, let me say for the record, so no one can get in there and be like, he doesn't care. Listen, it's very important that the sisterhood gets along. Very important. Okay, it's paramount. You want peace and harmony in your home. You cannot have that if they're not getting along. You go to work, they're fighting like cats and dogs. You get back, and it's chaos, right? You don't need that. That's not harmony, okay? So yes, they do need to get along, but some of it is discipline, okay? Some of it is self-discipline. We have to figure out within ourselves, okay, fellas. We are. Let me ask you guys this. Let me see. Let me see if you go with me on this. Men and women. Men and women. Okay, and I'm still using, go with me on this. Believers, the body of believers, are we considered the bride of Christ? Okay, the body of believers, right? And I'll continue my point. Veto power, we going governmental up in here. Exactly. But I have to have some type of attraction to her if she picks. Absolutely. 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 Without question. Without question. Absolutely. If she's oh, I like her, and she looks like a hag or something, okay, well, I don't keep looking. Okay, so I have no attraction. Keep looking. Okay, I'm glad you like her, but keep looking. So anyway, but absolutely. So again, guys, are we the body of believers? Are we considered the bride of Christ? Okay, I want to see if I have a little bit of a buy-in, a little bit. Okay, if we're considered the bride of Christ, right? And also a follow-up: is the Most High married to both Israel and Judah? Okay, that's a follow-up. Is the Most High married to Israel and Judah? Right now, she got swine face. So yeah, yeah. That's why you got to be careful if you let your wife choose. You got to have that. You got to exercise that veto power. You know, you gotta, yeah, yeah. You got to exercise that veto power. So anyway, we are the bride of Yah. Absolutely. Okay, there you go. We're the bride of Yah. That's all I want. Here's now work with me now, and even the men. Okay, even the men. We are the bride of Christ. Okay, we're the bride of Yah, right? And Yah was married to Israel and Judah. And you know, we have the parable of the 10 virgins and stuff like that. But anyway, is the Messiah. The Messiah is coming back for his bride. And there's more than one bride, right? Okay. So that means that other people are going to be saved. Hopefully we are too. That's what we strive to do. And other people are going to be saved. Now, men, and I'm saying this to the men, do we have any control or say so of who the Messiah comes to pick up and save? I would think that it would be much easier in the house if the two women get along, but I agree with Frank Steinman. He has to be attracted to her also. Absolutely. Absolutely. I totally agree. Okay. So, like I was saying, do we have any control of who he saved? There could be someone that you don't like very much right now and could end up in the kingdom. That's my point. Okay. As the bride, I don't have a say so. No say so. Yeah, exactly. We don't have say so. We don't get control who he wants to save. Okay? So we're in the same boat. He's coming for multiple he's coming back for multiple brides. And I don't get a say so. And neither do you. And guess what? Someone you don't like could make it into the kingdom. You don't get a say so. So that's why I say it's an exercise in self-control. That's what I'm talking about. It is an exercise in self-control. He said, hell no. Okay. Y'all gonna have to help me out. I don't know what IATGR means, so somebody have to help me out with that one. Okay. But we got to keep pushing forward. Okay? We got to keep pushing forward. Luke 9, and then we'll close it out. Luke 9, we'll start to close it out. Luke 9 and Luke 9. Because sometimes people feel like I'm gonna start at 59. Luke 9 and 59. How about that? Luke 9 and 59. Talk about being insensitive, right? And he said, talking about Christ, and he said unto another, follow me. But he said, Lord, suffer me first to go and bury my father. And Jesus said unto him, let the dead bury the dead, but go thou and preach the kingdom of God. So go right now and preach the kingdom of God, okay? Let the big, sound a little insensitive, right? Because there is a mission that's more important than how this person feels. Let me go and bury my dead so-and-so, my dead family member, right? But what is the mission? We got to preach the kingdom. Let the bed, I can't speak now. Let the dead bury the dead, right? And 61. And another also said, Lord, I will follow thee, but let me first go bid them farewell, which are at home at my house. Let me go say goodbye to them. Let me just go say goodbye. He's feeling sentimental. He wants to say, he wants to say goodbye and stuff, right? And Jesus said unto him, no man having put his hands to the plow and look back is fit for the kingdom of God. You see what I'm saying? I think a lot of us, we saw the wedding of Brother KGB, right? We saw his wedding or whatever. And he did an interview afterwards on spiritual combat. And he said that he got his bride, Sister Bree from KC. And they were waiting, I think, at the airport, and they had like 5 hours or something like that. And she asked, hey, can I go back and say, see my family one last time? And he said it was a test. He said no. He said no, right? And she cried, got it out, and she did not go back, okay? So it's one of those things that there's a mission. You're going forward. There's your husband should have a mission, has a vision, has a plan. He's executing that plan, and sometimes it's gonna seem insensitive, but what it is that emotions is not driving the train, and that's really what it comes down to. Emotions is not driving the train. Let's look at what we have here. It's about to get real, Luke. From biblical understanding, the first wife has no say. This is true. This is true. The brethren are like, yes, sir. Absolutely. All right. So let's look at some more scripts and start closing this thing out. So we got to, no looking back, man. No looking back. Okay. Ecclesiastes 7:10. Okay. Ecclesiastes 7:10. Because it can be hard, and we look back, oh, it was so much better way back when, right? It was so much better way back when, but I don't know. Ecclesiastes 7:10, it says, say not thou, what is the cause the former days were better than these? For thou dost not require wisely concerning this, okay? Looking back, it was better than that. We know Lot's wife, looking back, okay? We have to go forward, okay? Like, for instance, in our case, let's bring it home. We are getting out of the cities. We want to grow community, me and the brethren, okay? Notice, okay? The Brethren Israelite Council, okay? That's what we're going to be about, talking about growing community and stuff like that. We cannot, once we start this, once we put our hands to the plow, we cannot look back, because the reason we're trying to get, the reason hasn't changed. Do we think it's going to get better in the cities all of a sudden? Do we think our life is better in the city? If I think that, then I should not be leaving, right? I think my life is better in the city. Everything's great, right? No. So we cannot put our hands to the plow and then turn back. We cannot do that. Okay? We can't say, oh, well, man, it used to be better over there. We know what this world is coming to. What do you mean it used to be better? Okay? Just like the Israelites coming out of Egypt. What were they backbiting and murmuring? It used to be better. At least we had food. You just brought us out to the desert to die. All the backbiting and the murmuring and complaining, saying it used to be better. So it's not about being insensitive. It's not that. It's just that we have to move forward. Progress. Building. Okay? Progress. All right? Progress. All right? So, just like in Philippians 3:14, he said, I press on toward the goal for the prize of the upward call of God in Christ Jesus. In Philippians 3:14. So, let's see what else you guys got going on, and then we'll close it out. Oh, what the abbreviation meant. Let me go back up, because I didn't see what it meant. IATGR. Let me go up a little bit, because I don't know what that means. Intel over emotions. Yeah, M4 Johnny. Yes, sir. Intel over emotions. Sanity, emotions over intel. Insanity. Absolutely. Okay, the brethren. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I don't see what it means. It's about to get. Oh! It's about to get. Oh, okay. I didn't understand the abbreviation. Okay, I got it. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Lisa. I appreciate that. All right. Okay, it's about to get real. I was totally lost on that one. Okay, he said, I'm Frank said, okay, I'm new to the faith this time, but not the Bible. Judah is one of the 12 tribes, right? Yes. Now, is the example of Israel and Judah a different Judah, or am I slowest? No. When the Old Testament referred to Israel, Judah as Israel and Judah, it was like after the split, right? But we're still talking about Israel as a whole. Okay, it's like saying Jacob, Israel, same thing, but Israel, Judah. Like it had. I'll give you an example to help you out on that. Okay, let me find it though. Let me get it. to give you an example because he referred after the split. He referred to Israel as both, right? When it was split, and it's in Jeremiah 3. So let me go to Jeremiah 3 to help you out, brother, so it can make sense, right? Jeremiah 3. Let me go about 10. Okay, no, let me go. I'm gonna go up a little bit. Jeremiah. Let me go back a little bit. 6. Okay, let me go to Jeremiah 3 and 6. The Lord said also unto me in the days of Josiah the king, hast thou seen that which backsliding Israel has done? Now remember, he said Israel, backsliding Israel. She is gone up upon every high mountain and under every green tree, and there has played a harlot. Now Israel, she played a harlot. Okay, we know that the Most High says that I was a husband unto her, right? And referred to Israel as a her. And I said, after she had done all these things, turn thou unto me, but she returned not. And her treacherous sister Judah saw it. So that's where we get Israel and Judah. But this is just when they split, but still. But watch this. And I saw in verse 8, and I saw when for all the causes whereby backsliding Israel committed adultery, I had put her away and given her a bill of divorces, yet her treacherous sister Judah feared not, but went and played the harlot also cheated on. So his wife Israel played a harlot, and his wife Judah played a harlot. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. Okay, so that's what it means, Israel and Judah. Okay, so that's both of Yah's bride, Israel and Judah, which is really part of the 12 tribes, but the northern tribe, Judah, Benjamin, a little bit of Levi, because Levi was spread out through all the tribes. And then, of course, the southern tribes were all the rest of them, right? All the rest of them with a little bit of Levi on there. All right, so go back there. Oh, okay, got you. It's an abbreviation. Okay, all right. Okay, Judah. Okay, so no, you're not slow. I was just okay. Should I change my name? Hey, that's my fault. I didn't know what it was. Change it to what, sister? Okay. I'm lagging apparently. Still our brethren. Yeah. Okay. So there you go. All right. So, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and close it out. Go ahead and get on out of here. I just wanted to talk about the dangers of us allowing our emotions to control us. I appreciate all you guys for joining me, and I appreciate all the feedback. You guys are awesome for even giving me some of your time. I appreciate it. I don't count it as a light thing. And I want to say salute, shout out, and bless all the 5 brethren, all of us at the Brethren Israelite Council. You guys will be hearing a lot more about that. Got some, exciting things that we want to deal with and talk about. And we're going to get into that. But again, shalom to all of you guys' family. I know it's getting late in the evening. You guys have some other things to do, but I appreciate you giving me some of your time. Salute to all my brothers, all the ones on the stream, Brother Stockton, Brother M4 Johnny, Brother Matt. Appreciate all that. My brother over at the HOQ, Brethren Israelite Council over at HOQ. Shalom, brother, following Yeshua. Appreciate all you guys, okay? And I will see you guys on the next one. Say shalom and blessings to you, my brother. Excellent study. Thank you, brother. Thank you. I appreciate it. Shalom and blessings to all you guys, man. I really appreciate it. I don't want to waste anybody's time. I want to bring out some scripts. Want to, try to be a blessing to the brethren, which is the goal. So until next time, I'll see you guys on the next one. I'll be dropping some videos tomorrow. It may ruffle some feathers or whatever, but it's all done. It's all done with love, and it's just to have us to stimulate some of our thinking and to start a conversation or whatever. So on the video, hey, put comments down below. Tell me what you think. Okay, just tell me what you think. Put comments down below on this one if you want. The ones that are gonna drop, they're not live streams, just some videos, some thoughts that I was having or whatever. So you go ahead, let me know what you think, and I will see you guys on the next video. Shalom, everyone. I'm gonna go get something to eat, guys. Shalom.